It was a golden Thursday evening in Washington, D.C., where the streets buzzed with tourists, politicians, and everyday citizens crossing paths against a backdrop of towering monuments and national pride. Among them was 16-year-old Miguel Santos, a bright-eyed Filipino student who had just landed in the U.S. 2 days earlier. Miguel wasn't a typical tourist. He had been selected from thousands across the Philippines to represent his country at the prestigious International Youth Leadership Summit, held mere blocks from the White House. He had never even left his province before, but his heartfelt essay about unity and diversity had caught the attention of diplomats and educators across 2 continents. Dressed in his favorite navy blue t-shirt, dark jeans, and worn sneakers, he clutched his camera with quiet pride. He'd been walking along Pennsylvania Avenue, soaking in the architecture and culture, feeling like anything was possible. Stopping at a corner bathed in warm sunlight, he raised his camera to capture a picture of the Capitol in all its glory. Just as he clicked the shutter, a high-pitched, angry voice pierced the serenity like a siren. "Hey, stop right there!" it screamed, turning heads instantly. The voice belonged to Karen Whitman, a wealthy local socialite in her early 40s, known in the area for complaining about just about everything, from dog leashes to coffee shop wait times. She was dressed in expensive activewear, oversized sunglasses, and an attitude that demanded attention. Striding toward Miguel with fury in her eyes, she waved an accusatory finger and shouted again, "What do you think you're doing here? Who gave you permission to take pictures of federal buildings?" Her voice echoed off the walls as startled bystanders stopped mid-step. Miguel, confused and overwhelmed, lowered his camera. He hadn't done anything wrong, yet this woman was treating him like a criminal. Miguel opened his mouth to respond, his voice quiet, nervous. "Ma'am, I'm just a student. I'm taking pictures for my school. I'm here for—" But Karen wasn't listening. She cut him off, stepping closer with a scowl twisted across her face. "Don't give me that. I've seen your type before. You people come here and act like you own the place. What are you, a spy? Some kind of hacker?" Her words stabbed into Miguel's heart like daggers. He'd been taught to respect others, especially elders, and it took every ounce of courage not to cry right there. He tried again. "I'm here for the youth summit. I was invited by the—" But again, Karen shouted over him, "Liar! You don't belong here. You don't look like someone who's here for a summit." The crowd thickened. Dozens of pedestrians stopped to watch, some recording on their phones, others frozen in disbelief. Miguel looked around for help, but no one stepped forward yet. Karen, now emboldened by the lack of resistance, grabbed Miguel by the wrist. "Give me that camera," she demanded. "You probably stole it anyway." The fear in Miguel's eyes was visible. His voice cracked. "Please don't touch me." But she didn't let go. "Someone call security!" she shouted, as though she were the victim. Then, as if summoned by fate itself, a sharp whoosh of sirens swelled in the distance. The air shifted. People turned toward the street, eyes wide, mouths parting in astonishment. A line of black SUVs, flanked by gleaming police motorcycles, was approaching. The flags on the cars confirmed it. This wasn't just any convoy. It was the president's motorcade. Karen turned her head slowly. Her grip loosened. The realization hit her all at once, and panic began to set in. The lead vehicle rolled to a stop, and the street fell into eerie silence. The spectacle commanded everyone's attention, Karen's included. The once loud woman now stood frozen in place, her posture stiff with uncertainty. From the second SUV, 2 Secret Service agents emerged swiftly and professionally. One of them, Agent Cole, a tall, commanding black man with a reputation for razor-sharp instincts, walked directly toward the confrontation. His voice was calm but firm. "Ma'am," he said. "Let go of the young man, now." Karen blinked, startled. "Excuse me?" she stammered. He was taking pictures. I thought he was dangerous." Her voice, so authoritative seconds ago, now trembled with weak justification, but Agent Cole wasn't buying it. "We know exactly who he is. You've made a serious mistake." He gently turned to Miguel and said, "Are you all right, sir?" The term "sir" startled Miguel. No one had ever addressed him that way in public before. Before Karen could say another word, the back door of the third SUV opened. A hush swept through the crowd like a wave as none other than President Jonathan Reed stepped out of the vehicle. Tall, composed, and radiating quiet power, he walked straight toward Miguel, bypassing the crowd, the cameras, and the chaos. "Miguel Santos," he said warmly, extending his hand. "It's truly a pleasure to finally meet you." Miguel, stunned, could hardly believe it. Karen, meanwhile, turned deathly pale. President Reed turned to the watching crowd, now numbering in the dozens, and said clearly, "This young man traveled over 8,000 miles to be here today. His words moved not only my staff, but my entire administration. He represents the very best of what international friendship stands for." Karen looked like she'd seen a ghost. Her mouth opened to protest, but no sound came out. The president continued, "Miguel is the keynote speaker at today's summit. His essay on the importance of global empathy was so powerful, we cleared our schedule to meet him personally." As the president gently placed a hand on Miguel's back, guiding him toward the car, reporters and bystanders applauded spontaneously. "Let this moment be a lesson," the president added, glancing directly at Karen. "This country was built by immigrants, by dreamers, by young minds like his. Judging someone by how they look or where they're from is not the America we strive for." Karen, now surrounded by a crowd of judgmental eyes and smartphones capturing every expression on her face,